this is Shelly May, and welcome back to my channel, Unraveling Books. So today I'm bringing you out my October wrap-up. Let's jump right in. First up, The Orange is the New Black by Piper Kerman. So this is the story of Piper's time spent in a women's prison in Dansbury, Connecticut. This story starts off as such. Piper just graduated from college. She was involved with some individuals that dealt drugs. She delivered drugs. She decided, probably not a good idea, so she moved. She began dating a guy. She found a good job. But guess what? 10 years later, those drugs came back to hunt her. And she was convicted and sentenced to 15 months in prison. So, with all that said, I gave this memoir 2.5 stars. I was intrigued to read this based off the Netflix series The Orange is the New Black. Book, series, they did not match up. That's the best I could say. The book, one thing that the book did, it did address prison reform, which I think, and she did a good job with that. But it just, but when you read the cover of the book, it explains to be a heartbreaking, words of wisdom, humor in the book. And the only thing I got out of it maybe was the wisdom. But while reading it, I kept wanting more. You felt like, maybe not directly, but indirectly, it seemed as if she got special treatment, or she felt like she should get special treatment, because maybe once they picked her up, she wasn't still living a life of crime. The way she described herself, the things that she got to do that some of the other inmates did not. You just got that preferential treatment when reading it. And it just didn't, maybe going to jail or prison and you thought you might read this to find out what things might be like. This did not seem like an accurate depiction of that, of what prison is like. Next up, I read American Summer, Life and Death in Chicago by Alex Koltowitz. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about this one because I did a review on it. So I'll put the link to the review in the cards. But this was a nonfiction that was published this year and discussing gun violence in Chicago. Next up, Ordinary Light by Tracey Smith. This was a story of grief, race, religion, and coming of age. Tracey uses the relationship between her mother to describe these experiences in her life. Yeah, I gave this story 5 stars. I really enjoyed this story. I really resonated with the coming of age portion. She did a great job in describing her trying to come into her independence and find herself aside from the teachings of her mother and her father. She compares her mother going off to college and herself going off to college. Did they have the same feelings? She really made the reader understand that she was wanting to find herself, find religion for herself, and not just follow what she had been taught all her life. I will say that the story does start off slow because she starts at childhood describing the relationship between her and her mother, and she goes all the way up into young adult describing their relationship. Lastly, American Marriage by Tayarie. This is a novel that was on Oprah's book list for 2018. It follows a couple who had been married for about a year. They were from Atlanta. The husband, who is Roy, was from Louisiana. They go to visit his family. While there, he is convicted and sentenced to 12 years in prison for a crime that he did not commit. His wife leaves him there. She goes back home, continues to build her business, and becomes closer to a childhood friend. Oh, but 5 years later, Roy is released. So y'all, I was Team Roy all the way. His wife, Celestial, just did not stand by her man, not the least bit. I gave this story 3.5 stars. I really felt for Roy. He was in jail for something he did not do. He was, they write letters back and forth, but of course he's doing more writing than she is, and so you could just feel the pain that he was going through. I really like how Tayarie Jones used this story to address men and women who are wrongly incarcerated, how they, what they go through, what they lose, how they have to rebuild their lives once they are released. I do wish at the beginning she jumps right into the story. She wastes no time, and it was a story of much drama. I just wished she would have had more of an element of surprise when it came to the crime that he committed, that they said that he committed. I wish, it's like you could easily figure out what that crime was, and I wish she had left a little bit more surprise to that. So y'all, this is what I read for October. Let me know if any of these interest you, or if you read any of them. Let me know what you read for October. Also, if you enjoyed this video, subscribe. Thank you to all those who have already subscribed. Until next time, this is Shelly Mae.